Hello, my friends. It is I, Alphinius Goo, here in Gooey Studios. Yes, such as it were. Yes, with Camera Mandy behind the camera. Say hello, Camera Mandy.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, it is back. It is in great condition.
Not even harmed, even slightly. Yes. We wanted to, but we didn't do it. No, that would have been mean. Anyway, it was lots of fun when we were driving out to GaryCon with Mike and I playing with Camera Mandy's hat, and the hat visited many places, let me tell you, including restrooms. I'm not sure how clean it is, Camera Mandy.
Hey, I don't believe you. I don't think you did that to my hat. My hat has feelings.
It does?
Yes.
It didn't say anything to me.
It's its own character now.
Oh, the hat is a character, yes. We already have the churka.
I know.
Yes, right, and now we have the hat, right? Oh, goodness gracious. Anyway, hello, my friends. We have a wonderful, wonderful stream for you today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us on your Saturday morning. We do our best to make this as entertaining as possible, which is hard with a low budget, but we do the best we can. We're going to talk about the writing contest today. We're going to talk about the new Contributors Guild submission that is coming. Yes, very excited about that. We haven't done a little contributors for a while, so that's pretty cool. We're going to talk about legends, lore, and libations, which I'm totally excited about. It's wonderful, magnificent. We're going to drop the digitals next week and give you about a few days before we go to print so you can see if you find any typos. Yes, yes, hopefully.
We appreciate you.
We do.
We love genuinely, I just want to say genuinely. Yeah, you can see Alphinius there. Genuinely, and this is not an April Fool's joke. We love the emails that you send us with typos.
Yes, absolutely. It is always helpful when someone shows us something that we missed. It's very hard, to not have typographical errors. I've told the famed story already about the AT&T advertisements of many years ago, full-page ads in the newspapers around the country that ended up holding a pornography, it had a porno number in there instead of the number to call their business office.
I have a good story.
Yes,
Can I tell them?
Yes, of course. Tell a story. Yes,
well,
everyone. Do you not want to hear a story there in the chat? Story
this is
people.
A good one.
All right, here we go.
Okay, this is from our marketing agency. Okay, and we generally have a rule that you have to call the number on our marketing materials. Now, that is somebody else's job. So, I am only a little at fault for this. So, do you remember what story I'm talking about here? So we had an ad playing in Florida, and the number was wrong. And some poor guy in New York was getting flooded with calls.
Not flooded, he got like 4 calls. Goodness gracious.
I was trying to make my advertising seem
that's
like
an
it worked.
April Fool. No, because everyone goes to Google and looks up the name, right? This is how it works. Nobody calls those. Anyway, he got 4 phone calls, yes. But it was the wrong number, poor guy in New York, yes. Flooded with phone calls. Camera Mandy is such an embellisher.
I just want it to seem like my video advertising is just the best thing
just ever. Off the chart. It is already. Good. Yes, we love it. Anyway, poor guy in New York. Well, we caught it within a day and fixed it, but it was not the greatest thing.
I think that was probably one of our worst
low moments. Yes, one of the low moments.
But for the most part, like I make hundreds and hundreds. I probably at this point I've made thousands of video ads.
Absolutely.
For this
and radio,
agency.
Right? All of that stuff. Yes, crazy.
Yes. And so
these people are not tuned in to hear about our agency.
I know. I'm sorry. I went down a path. Okay, let's go talk about our writing contest.
All right.
Yeah?
So the writing contest is pretty exciting. It goes for a while here, so to give you a chance to participate, there are 12 different characters. Okay, so Camera Mandy's going to put these up here on the screen. You'll be able to see them, and there are 12 different characters that you are going to take the portrait of, and we are going to build a backstory. Now, I want you to understand that these characters are going to be used for our conventions. So you may have seen 1 or 2 of them in another tale somewhere else, but these are only for the conventions, for use when we have people to play with fun things. But they are magnificent, and you can pick how many Camera Mandy. They can write as many as they want.
They can write 1 per portrait. So.
You can write 1 per portrait. So if you're really into it, you can write actually 12 different backstories for these marvelous portraits.
That went very
look,
big.
It zoomed in.
I don't know how I did that.
How really cool, Camera Mandy.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know how I did that, but it happened. So
low budget production.
Yeah, so this is the Build a Backstory contest.
And we do want you to at least be somewhat familiar, right? So you need to know that and the lore needs to kind of fit with Zyathé. So please don't just go off crazy and start writing stuff because you won't win. You will lose. So you know, if you
There we
have you go back a little bit, Cameraman. So
just so everyone knows.
no, but I want to make sure. Let me make my point here, and then you make yours. So this is a softling, right? And a softling is different from a halfling, and so you need to know a little bit about softlings if you're going to write a backstory about a softling, right? If it's going to fit in the world of Zyathé, go back a little bit more. Right? Go back just that is a maroon, right? If you don't know what a maroon is, you can't really write a more effective backstory because you got to kind of know that they are the people of the waters, right? And what they do and what they are and kind of how they lived and all of that kind of stuff. So it makes sense, right? One more, and then I'll shut up.
But I'm just gonna to this point say that on our social media channels, Carrie, is someone here?
No, I'm looking at you.
Oh.
Yes, I'm practicing. I'm practicing so that when I'm on camera
it's okay,
and you are talking, I can look over at you and look in the right direction. This is what I'm doing right now.
Oh
yes, hello, friends. I'm looking. Yeah.
Anyway, to your point, though, Carrie has written up really great blurbs for all of these custom. Yeah, so for every.
That's what happens when you drink too much gassy soda. Yes, and then you have a blurb.
Anyway, so twice a week we're going to be posting these portraits on our social media channels, and she gives a little bit of like backstory on like the fairy. Like there's little blurbs to give you some ideas about the kind of backstories you can create.
This actually, Cameraman, this portrait is one of my more favorite portraits of all the portraits that we've ever done. I love her. I love the character and her face. There's a lot that I really admire about this portrait. And of course, I love many of them, right? I love them all, really, but I love many of them. But this is just, I remember when I got it, I was like, wow, that is something else.
Well, I will say that we have her and we have, what's her name? Gwendolyn in our other set of pre-gens.
Yes. And also, you know, the elf earlier, if you go back, is in Shadows of Genzicon, right? So that there's Yes, right there. Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, half elf. Excuse me. I believe elf or half elf. I can't remember. Anyway,
I did not mean to put named characters in here, so whoopsie.
Major mistake.
Oh well, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But with all that to say, I love that we have some older adventurers.
Like, oh yeah, and absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want not every adventurer is a young. You know,
strapping.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes.
Usually, if they start off at level 1, they're young and strapping.
Yeah, but I mean, it's okay. Like Gwendolyn is a level 1 from our previous ones, and you know, I always just built her backstory as she wanted some adventure in her life.
Anyway, so there's a website that you're going to have to go to.
Yes, it is. This one.
You want to go to the slide.
GooeyCube.com/contest, and it has all the full rules and details for this contest. And I want to give a huge shout out to some people.
Do it.
Okay.
Go cut to you, though.
I can't.
Why can't you cut to you?
Okay, well, hold on. I'll just.
Yeah, you should cut to you.
Hold on. It's just, I need to get my stream done.
Low budget production.
I'm just saying. There we go. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to Mark Gordon, Casey Wren, Matt Wilcox, and Whitney Wilcox, and Carrie for all the work that they have done, because they've also done a lot of work on the contest.
Indeed.
And they're going to be our judges, along with Pam, I think. Pam's also
marvelous
judge.
Pamela.
So thank you all so much for all you do for Gooey Cube.
Yes, indeed. And Riley, did you tell about Riley?
Oh, and Riley did Riley did do the website. So thank you, Riley.
The page, yes, it's really, really well done. So you have a good time going there. So it's maximum of 700 words, and I believe that's noted in there, correct, Cameraman?
Yes.
But you really do not need to write a 700-word backstory. You know, a couple of paragraphs typically suffices pretty well. So you know,
I'm just such a video person that like when you 700 words didn't seem like that much to me.
Keep talking.
My God.
Yes, Cameraman. Hello. Yes.
It's so creepy when you do that.
Do you notice I got a haircut and a beard trim?
Oh,
yes.
I totally.
I'm all cleaned up, Cameraman.
I totally noticed.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway.
Ms. Goo was impressed. Yes.
Okay. Are we ready to talk about Legends, lore, and legends?
Yes. Is any questions from the chat about the writing contest before we do that? Just let's make sure that there's nobody, because we're really excited about this. You know, again, part of our mission is to showcase artists, give writers and artists who've never really had a chance. In fact, I met a couple more people. And David, I got to get to you. There's a number of artists that I really need to give some more work to, and I'm working on that. Of course, everything ground to a screeching halt during the OGL crisis and all of that stuff. So, anyway, it's getting back. We're getting back in the swing of getting our artists going, and I've got a few new artists that I want to give some chances to, and I met a couple of marvelous young folks who are just embarking on their artistic careers at GaryCon, and I want to give a couple of them some chances. So. anyway, but part of this is your chance to be able to get something published, right, in the Contributors Guild, right, and maybe even do more than that, depending on the quality of your writing and the skill set that you have. And we always give rewards and money and stuff like that for the writing. We don't just want you to do anything for us just for the fun of getting published, right? So you'll actually receive, this is one of our custom character folios.
Oh, yeah, we should have talked about the prizes.
Yeah, if you win the contest, you will win one of these, right? With your character on it and all of that stuff. These are worth $15.
Everyone who enters is going to get a 15% off coupon.
And a 15% off coupon.
To the gooeycube.com. Exclusions apply. Basically, just you can't stack the coupons.
No coupon stacking.
Yeah, so
this is called gaming the system. And they're all gamers out there.
Yeah,
you know this, Cameron. They are very smart.
So everyone who enters get a 15% off coupon. And then the 12 people whose portraits are chosen each get a arted folio with their character that they wrote for, that they won for. Like that, you can hold up your folio again.
Yes, hold up the folio again.
And then there's one grand prize winner for the judges. I'm not judging, by the way, but for the judges' absolute favorite backstory, someone is going to win a signed Shadows and Genzicon Part 2.
Ooh,
so we have some
yes,
really
because
cool
Shadows and Genzicon Part 2 is coming to Gen Con this year, and we are very, very excited about it. I cannot tell you.
Yes.
So this will be Part 2 of Shadows and Genzicon, and it will tail on with the first one. So you can play them independently without any question. And that's another thing, Cameramandy, you know, I think not many people have played it yet. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten a few emails from people because a lot of people are playing the Red Star Rising campaign and they're doing that stuff. But if you have played Shadows and Genzicon, or even if you just read it, I'd love to get some feedback on it because it is very much a mystery kind of adventure. And there's a lot of exploration and a lot of discovery that is required as part of it. Now, there's also some pretty good combats in there, and there's a lot of mysterious and clandestine figures that the characters have to deal with. But I'd love to hear about it because it's more unusual in the world of adventures. So I'd love to get some feedback on that if anybody's done it or read it.
So I was actually going to run it myself.
Oh,
for
I want you to, Cameramandy.
Well, here's what happened. This is kind of an advertisement for Gooey Cube.
Hold on, I need to look at Cameramandy. Oh no, wait, I'm on the screen, so I can look at her like this.
Okay, so everyone on here knows my dad runs Red Star Rising campaign, and he was also trying to do another side campaign. But he started DMing in his 60s, like first-time DM, and he'd really only ever played with Alphinius over
like
here.
Like me, he is a geezer.
Yeah, so anyway, but he found that the Gooey Cube materials, he was getting more and more frustrated trying to create on the side for the side campaign. And so I ended up passing him Shadows and Genzicon because he loves how Gooey Cube has like structured the materials. He feels really confident running them, having everything at his fingertips.
And right now, you can get Shadows and Genzicon for just $19.99, but only for the next 3 minutes. Call now, immediately. 1-800-GOOEY-CUBE. Yes. Don't call that number. It doesn't exist. It's probably a porno number, Cameramandy.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway, so all that to say, I had a lot of people at GaryCon, first time people coming up.
Do not call that number. Some damn person in the chat's going to call that number.
You're the one who put it out there.
The number does not exist.
Okay. All this to say, I had a bunch of people actually at GaryCon, and this is where we'll start showing our GaryCon stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I actually had a bunch of people coming up to us at GaryCon asking how these adventures are for first-time GMs, and I genuinely think that either for first-time GMs or people who've been very experienced and want something new, these materials are just excellent.
Look, Cameramandy, I've gotten enough feedback now. You know, when we launched, I've said this many times, when we launched, GaryCon was magnificent. We had such fun, you know, it was really, but when we launched, there's a great picture of you and me.
Yeah, that is a great picture.
In your different hat, that's the other hat.
That's my new travel hat.
Travel hat,
that's
yes.
my new, because it folds up. And
folds up,
put it
yes.
in the
You can squish it, yes. Anyway, so we really did try very hard to for early, you know, inexperienced game masters to give them much background and capability that is often not in other materials. But of course, for the experienced game master, we wanted to give them a wonderful, entertaining tale, and then on top of that, give them many tools and accoutrements to make running it a lot easier, saving them time. You know, there was Mike there with his shirt on.
I know, I love this. Right, it's like the nerd superhero.
Yes, nerd it's super goo. Yes, oh God, that cannot make it into the lore. There is no super goo. Yeah, there's Peter and me right there. Yes, oh yeah, there's I got to meet Jim Ward and Margaret Weiss was there, and Larry Elmore and all kinds of wonderful people. Oh, there we are. There you are with Rob. That's a great shot. Yeah, I love that shot.
I love this picture.
Yes, look at all the snow.
It just captures how hectic Saturday morning was trying to get to because there was like a foot of snow and our car got stuck in a parking lot trying to save Alphinius from.
I was not needing saving.
Okay, I passed Alphinius and he doesn't have a windshield wiper.
We didn't have a squeegee thing.
Yeah, so he's literally using his bare arm because he doesn't have a jacket on to wipe off his windshield. And I'm like, Adam, drive up next to him. Let's get him our thing. And then we got stuck after that. It was just pure hecticness. But I will say that game show was so much fun.
It was a blast.
I say we have a small but mighty audience.
Yeah, it was about 30 to 40 in the audience because some people didn't want to brave the snow to drive down there, but we had just great folks in the chat. It was wonderful. There was 100 and some people in the stream, right, cameraman, something like that.
Yeah, and
the stream ended up winning.
I know. I was so, and honestly, I was so proud because they were strategizing in the chat, like when they should use power-ups and whatnot. They understand the game, and that just makes me so happy.
Look at her. She's crying behind the camera right now.
And there's Armando the Bard.
Armando the Bard. Yes, we have. Oh yeah, Armando the Bard is hanging out with us now and joined the Gooey Den and all kinds of stuff. So we're excited about that. Yes, we had fun with Armando.
Yes, I think Armando's in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, Armando, I hope you are.
Yeah, he says, "Yay!"
Hey, Armando. Yes.
There's a great video of Armando singing this "Let It Be"
D&D.
D&D, and I seriously all week long will just find myself singing it like just randomly. Anyway, oh my god. Anyway, this is so great. There's Stefan. I'm like photobombing in the back.
Yes, cameraman was photobombing Stefano and me, and this is Stefan is of course the founder of Dwarven Forge and one of my personal gaming heroes, and he is just fun and wonderful, and we're actually talking about the little. So Matt and Whitney came up with this idea of the Dwarven Mines in map number 6, which is now completed, which means we have one more map to do for the Gloomport, and it is done. 9 poster maps, magnificent. You've seen the pictures; it's off the hook. But we will have the mines, the Dwarven Mines down in there, and on top of that, we will also have the Dwarven Forge. Yes, and if everything works out the way I hope it will, Stefano and Anne, yes, they will be present in the Dwarven Forge.
Ooh,
yes,
I
we will
love
see
that.
what happens with that. Yes, there's a chat that I had, so this is magnificent. Anyway, continue on, cameraman. Oh, God.
So,
Patrick. Patrick, you are close to becoming right up there with Marcus. Yes, you and Marcus, you should meet. If you haven't met, you and Marcus should hang out. You should be drinking buddies. Yes, this is a little out of control, really.
Ooh, I did the Zoom thing again. I don't even know how I do it.
Look, the Zoom thing on that was kind of a Shriner hat, right?
I think I figured it out. Is it this?
And everybody who always calls out the Santa hat on the front of Strangely Gooey Holiday as a hat, please understand, that was Photoshop.
It was Photoshop.
Photoshop doesn't
that's what
count.
He always
yes,
says.
it does. Yes. What is this? Is that cake?
Oh,
a dunce cap? I didn't even see that one, Patrick. You are definitely getting cut off. I'm going to start out. Let me see. I have administrative control in the Gooey Den. I could mute conversations. Yes.
I really you really got obsessed with this duck.
Was that a binky? My God, go back. He gave me a binky. This is embarrassing. Anyway, what do you mean I'm obsessed with the duck?
The duck.
The duck.
This is a picture of you.
I know about the duck.
Face.
I'm going to tell you. Yes, I tried to do the duck face. But listen, I know about the duck now.
Okay.
So Cosmo Joe, all right, who has a wonderful thing that he does. It's just magnificent. I want to have Andy, Cosmo Joe, I want to have him on the stream to talk about it. Hid a bunch of these little creatures all over the place. And this is a cheetah duck or a quack leopard, or I have no idea. But anyway, we found it. Yes, actually, technically Adam found it, but I took credit. So we found it in the restaurant over in the corner, sitting there amongst a bunch of lint. Yes, so we dug it out, and then we found out later that it was some kind of a contest. So thankfully we had replaced the duck, because if we hadn't replaced the duck, we could have screwed up the contest. Anyway, it's good news. Anyway, that was quite a lot of fun at GaryCon. Okay, I want to talk about this. All right. So anyway, I want to tell you, friends, I think we're going to make, I talked to Casey a little bit, and there's a number of people who went to GaryCon this year, who said that they would love to run Gooey games there. I talked to Dave, who sort of coordinates all of that stuff, and there's some interest in having us do that. So we might just, I don't want to burn people out, but people are already going to GaryCon really wanted to do it. And of course we provide stipends for game masters and all of that kind of stuff, which help make it more affordable. So we may have a Gooey thing, some Gooey games next year at GaryCon. So we're going to look at that. We're going to talk with the team and make sure we aren't blowing anybody out of the water. But we love.
I think
Luke.
we could totally do something.
Oh yeah, and we love Luke, and you know, the whole family is wonderful, and obviously the.
Did you see Luke at all?
Mostly just passing the night. I talked to him a little bit at the cocktail reception and stuff like that, but he was just running around a lot. And you know what? Honestly, you know what? I know how it is to be doing that. You know,
I bet. Yeah.
And everybody wants to talk to you, right? And so my goal was to not make him going crazy. But I forgot to send you the picture of me with a couple of celebrities. We'll maybe show that next week. But let's talk about this. So we are very excited about Legends, Lore, and Libations. So Legends, Lore, and Libations is this little add-on thing that we did for the Kickstarter, and it is really good. Keith wrote it. It's in the style of the Volo's guides, if anyone remembers it. So it's really a sort of a journal of the travels of Wineste, who is traveling around the Republic of Zoranthia. And I got to tell you, if you like reading, you're going to read this and you're going to be like, wow, this was a great read. I believe this from the bottom of my soul because I've now read it a couple of times, right? And it is entertaining, it is fun, and it captures a much lore of the world of Zyathé. Some of our characters are in there, and what was really exciting is we did a lot of experimentation. So I'm looking at the picture there, but we did a lot of experimentation to take some of our artworks and use some computer programs to sort of turn them into sort of these pen and inks. Don't go too fast, cameraman. Go back. So there's Wineste. Go back. There you go. So there is Wineste with his traveling companions that you will meet. You will find out how Zoe and the Dimensional Slinker and Juniper all came into play as part of the tale. And Zoe is the wolf dog, and the Dimensional Slinker is there on the saddle, and of course Juniper is his trusted steed. Yes. And so you hear about the tale of this, and all of it is weaved into all of the places that Wineste called Win journeyed to. So we took the artworks and applied a number of different strategies using computers and created these wonderful pen and inks. And I hope you love them.
Just to be clear, this is not the same as AI art.
No, because this is art that was originally created by our marvelous artists.
Our
yes.
artists, and then on top of that, our graphic designers are the ones who put a lot of work into figuring out the filters. It's not running them through some AI art program.
Yes, no. This is so they're filters. This is actual people doing this, not machines. I mean, there's a little bit of machine assistance, but that's the same thing as when you're doing digital illustration as well. But it is, I love them, and I hope the chat is enjoying this. Continue to the next one. This is many do not know about this. This is a Bandicoot, and Bandicoots are on Bandicoot Isle, which is across from Dark Silver Bay, right there near Darken Haven. And there's a marvelous tale about those islands, and you will learn about Bandicoots in Legends, Lore, and Libations. Let us continue, cameraman.
Sorry, I'm just finding out just now that I was looking for Hentaya, who's one of our Twitch followers, and it was Patrick Smith.
Oh, Patrick, yes.
So I was like, did I meet you this weekend? And it turned out we spent a bunch of time together.
Well, it's impossible to know.
I know, because you never know.
By the way, if you haven't done so, please give us a like on the Twitch thing. You know, if you haven't done that, give us a follow. That would be wonderful. That's always helpful. So here is Wavecrest, and a wonderful piece of artwork.
This is a beautiful image.
Yeah, and really turned out great in the pen and ink sort of style thing. And it is really, really wonderful. And of course, the color artwork, I think Benjo did this one, is really, really good, really good. So keep going. So and Keith, I don't know if you're in the chat. Oh, and this is a portrait of Rainy Windsong, who's one of the 300 plus marvelous friends who have had their portraits made in the world of Zyathé. And Wineste actually meets a number of those folks in the tale, including Hogue, who is Zane's character, and Teok Brystone and others, Rainy Windsong being one of them, as part of the tale. So we tried a pen and ink on Rainy and Teok and a number of others, and it really I mean, it just looks magnificent. It's just wonderful, wonderful look.
I just want to say that I am so excited that we are now getting to the point where we're seeing more and more of our custom portraits in the materials. I cannot wait to see
the Darkenhaven and the Gloomcourt are going to be packed with them. You know, it's going to be wonderful. You know, and
so exciting to see. I know a lot of people have been waiting a long time to see their portraits used. I'm absolutely overjoyed that we're getting to the point where all the new materials we were creating are
yes, indeed.
So
what's the next one?
That's all you said.
Oh, that was the last one. Okay, that's enough. Anyway, Legends, Lore, and Libations. We're going to drop the digitals next week, and can't wait for you to check it out. And then for those of you who ordered the physical, you had to pay a little bit of money to get the physical copy. You'll get that, and then it will be up for sale in our marvelous website if you have interest in purchasing it and you didn't get it for the Kickstarter. So
Patrick had a question about that. Is there a pre-order for Legends, Lore, and Libations, or will it just be up on the website when
it's coming very close? But we might put that up. It's not there now, but we it's just. I say this all the time, one thing for y'all to remember is Gooey Cube it is about 5 people sitting in a phone booth, right, making it happen along with all this wonderful community that we have. And it's just hard to get it all done and still have our day jobs. So we do the best we can. And also part of the problem is yours truly is a bit of a nitpicker. I'm a perfectionist.
I don't think that it's nitpicking if it's for the quality of our product.
I really spend a lot of time in the materials and
well, let me just put it this way. Legends, Lore, and Libations was supposed to be finished about a month ago.
Oh yeah, but I took it, right? Yeah. And it needed some editing still, even though Carrie did a great job working with Keith's work. There was a few things that were quite not accurate in terms and that's part of the problem when you're having multiple people write things and they don't have as much depth of lore. And I do want to give Keith much credit because he was incredibly accurate with almost everything. There were just a few things that needed to be adjusted because they were a little bit off from what had been published. But nobody's going to catch that except probably for me, right? And
you are the lore master.
I am the lore master. Yes. Anyway, but I truly, Keith, magnificent, and Hannah and Carrie. Thank you for making it wonderful and helping put it together, and all the folks who proofread and all of that stuff. So I think you're going to love it. So
we have some Raiders in the chat. Hello, welcome.
What kind of Raiders? Like Oakland Raiders?
No, they're not the Oakland Raiders
they're
anymore.
Las Vegas Raiders.
I know.
Yes.
Welcome, friends. I believe this is where I'm just learning the Twitch terminology. I think it's where another Twitch stream ends and people come over to our.
Hello, Raiders from the lost stream, or whatever it is. Yes, welcome. We are glad you are raiding us. We love being raided. If you don't know what this is Goo Morning Zyathé, which is a wonderful stream that we do every Saturday morning, talking about all kinds of strange stuff. Yes, but it is good. I think so. At least many people have told me so. Anyway, we're glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. If you're interested, we have a wonderful Facebook group called the Gooey Den, and we have a wonderful Discord Discord channel. So come hang out with us if you like TTRPGs and immersive gaming. That's what we do. All right, Cameron Mandy, what is next?
Speaking of, can you talk about the book that's right next to you?
Oh, this one. Oh, Thomas, yes. So Thomas visited us, and he kickstarted this. It's called Fear of the Unknown, and it is a single book system, and it's quite fun. I got a chance to thumb through it. I haven't really read it yet because I just saw him just a couple of days ago. But it was fun hanging out with Thomas and spending a little time with him, and I tried to give him some advice best as I can on stuff. I love little creators. This is why the OGL crisis probably incensed me more. I mean, we literally were looking at whether Gooey Cube, how Gooey Cube would exist and whether it could exist in the post OGL crisis world as it was going to be. And that was obviously frustrating for us and disappointing and all of that stuff that we were going through as we tried to figure out what we were going to do. But my anger was incredibly higher because I know quite a few little creators out there who make a few $100s a month or maybe $1,000 a month on their little things that they've published and sell them through DriveThruRPG and all of this stuff. And to have them be so upended was reprehensible. And so I'm very, very thankful that the community stepped up and did what the community did. And I'm very, very thankful that Wizards in their right mind somehow got to their right mind and made the pullback that they did. It was It was the right thing to do for their brand. It was the right thing to do for them. It was the right thing to do for the community. And I'm very pleased at the outcome. So well done to all of you who put the pressure on. It was good. All right, Cameramandy, what is next?
Contributor submission, our next contributor
All right, so we are about to begin the next Contributors Guild round. So if you don't know about the Contributors Guild, this is how it works. We have a place on our website that you have to sign up for, and you have to fill out a little form, and I'll explain why that is in a moment, where you can submit to our materials based on the subject or topic that we're actually submitting for, all right? About a page or less of copy, so 500 words or less of content, okay? And you may be published in our materials. And for doing that, you typically will receive a reward if you are selected, if you're chosen. And we try to take everyone, by the way. We've taken most everyone who's ever contributed, unless they're way off base and just totally out there and not really, it's clear they haven't really paid attention to any Zyathé lore. So if you participate in that, you'll get a reward of value somewhere between $15 to $25. So we're compensating you for your time, for your content. And you don't need to worry if you're not a great writer. That's okay. That's what our editors are for. That's what Kerry and me and AJ and others do around here when we're not doing other stuff that we're making, is we work on editing people's stuff. So we've done monsters, we've done locations in towns and cities, we've done places in the Underdelve, which is called the Zion Dune in the world of Zyathé, and your submissions are magnificent. And it's clear so many of you are immersed in the Zyathé lore. So you can actually be published there. Your name will appear in the published materials. I think hundreds have done it so far, Cameramandy, right? Between Wy'rd and West Verdestia and the monsters. I think we've got well over 300 monsters. And your reward for the monster is magnificent because you're going to actually get your monster printed.
We're almost done with those, aren't we? Are we almost done with getting the monsters done?
We finished finished almost all of the monster illustrations. Okay, so we've almost got those done, but we haven't done Monstrica yet. So we got to it's another thing, right? And of course, we just did Blood for the Con, which thank you, my friends, you were magnificent. And if you backed that Kickstarter, you were very smart, because not only are you going to get magnificent Blood for the Con, the adventure, and the incredible Mornwood campaign, and 2 poster maps of the Mornwood that adjoin the Dark and Haven map, and all of the extra. What are you doing, Cameramandy?
Oh, that's just my stressed eyes.
Oh, she has Cameramandy.
Sorry, maybe I didn't communicate it well enough.
Are you getting the little tweaky? So not only you get, and plus all the accoutrements that are in there, the treasure map packs and stuff like that. It's probably. So some people wanted the limited edition, and I think that was wise to do that. And that
Can I just say, I'm sorry, someone in here said, LOL, crazy hatter eyes. And that little video that I posted on YouTube, or not on YouTube, it was on YouTube, and it was an ad for like Facebook. Someone made the comment.
Oh yeah, they gave you a lot of crap.
I know, there was someone in there trolling me hard, and they said, annoying plus crazy eyes equals no play.
Yes, annoying, and then the other guy said you were too old to have purple hair.
I know.
Yeah, I
think they were the same person.
I was going to respond with much harshness, but but we are kind,
don't even stress about it.
And I have learned that,
my
by the way,
self-esteem
most of you
can take pretty much any hit.
Yeah, there's too much damn trolls out there that just say stuff because they want to get reactions, and so reacting is probably actually the worst thing that you could do. In any case, Cameraman, you are not too old to have purple hair.
Thank you.
Right?
I'm sorry.
Just as I'm not too old to play a wizard. Yes, this is magnificent. Yes.
They said crazy hatter eyes.
Crazy hatter eyes. Yeah.
With that said, they are ridiculous stretch goals, and you guys are going to get such a good value for.
Yeah, I really, I kind of priced it out, and when I looked at what I thought we would charge for those individual items, I think it's in the neighborhood of $200. So if you made a $90 pledge, you get on top of the $90 in value of materials that you got, which is worth $90. You get all of the stretch goals on top of it. So you made a $90 pledge and ended up with $290 worth of stuff. And if you did the limited edition, you got 2 sets, right? You got one to play with and one to put away with the limited edition cover that we're going to do. You got $200 worth of stuff and got another $200 on top of that. So really, no matter what you did, you got a tremendous value. And then folks stepped up, and I'm going to be playing some special games at Genghis Con. But now Peter and Patrick also did it, so it looks like I'm going to do it at GaryCon as well. So we got some fun. I'm excited to to run a special game for the folks who wanted to do something extra to help us out. And thank you. There was 11 or 12 people who did that, and that was really, really wonderful. Can't tell you how much we appreciate the support. All right, Camera Mendy, so what is next?
I want to do a quick shout out.
Oh, we're going to do a shout out.
My sister's watching. Hi,
Callie or Becky?
Becky.
Becca Boo, Becca Boo.
Here, wait, I was covering
Becca Boo, Becca Boo.
Shout out to Becky.
Becky is also one of my goddaughters. Yes, I have 3 of them and then a godson. Yes, all from the McNabs. So there was a lot of fear. So we had 2 kids, right? And then Devin moved in with us, and then we had 3 kids, right? And then, then there was 4. So there was, I kept telling Larry all the time, I said, you can't die, dude. because I don't know if we could handle 7 kids.
Yeah, would have been a lot. Would have been a lot.
Not quite 8 is enough, which you have to be old to know what I'm referencing right there. Anyway, all right, Camera Mandy, what about the book club? Are we doing that next?
I think it's time for book club. Wait, did you actually say what the next contributing round was?
I didn't,
Or were you
because
just
we're
talking
going to
about the
announce
contributor?
it next week.
Okay, sounds good.
Because the site isn't open. But if you're right, we got kind of sidetracked. But if you go to the Gooey Game Master's Den of Enlightenment or the Kickstarter, or excuse me, on the Discord channel, the how to join the Contributors Guild is there. It's really easy. Now, this is very important, my friends. I say this all the time. There are all kinds of wonderful ideas out there. And to contribute to Zyathé, you can take one of your ideas, but don't take one of your special ideas. Don't take a character or a place that is really something special unless you're willing to give it up. Because there's no way that we can make this Contributors Guild work without Gooey Cube taking ownership of the content as if you were a freelance writer for us, okay? If we didn't do that, there is just simply no way. The legality, we couldn't do it, all right? So don't do anything that is special to you. Do something extra on the sides. Just stretch your creativity and make a cool thing or a cool monster or a cool place in Zyathé that you're okay with sharing with the world, right? And not going to be something that you'll regret later, that you might have wished to publish yourself or something like that, okay? So just always remember that, all right? That is very important. And by the way, we didn't do social media because we had so much damn stuff to talk about, right, Camera Mandy? We didn't do it, right? Did you grab a few?
I did not pull, because we had Gary Con.
So we got all kinds of stuff we want to show. Harry did miniatures of the lady Andrea and the commander Donald, and we want to show those. And you didn't show Patrick's damn hats. I see you got to that.
I have my priorities.
That social media crap got on there. Yes, I see that.
I have my priorities.
Yes, but there's all kinds of really cool things we want to show, and we will do that next week because
Donnie says Donald was very sexy.
Both of them.
They look really great.
Yeah, both of them were kind of, very good looking. Yes, magnificent, yes. Anyway, so Blood for the Con, you will meet the Arnolds. Yes, the Lady Mage, Andrea, it's A-U-N-D-R-A.
Andrea.
Right, versus Andrea. Well, A-U-N-D-R-E-A, which is Andrea for the Arnolds. Mm-hmm. And then Andrea, which I've got it. I think I've got it, Andrea. I think I've got it. Yes, I'm not going to screw it up anymore. And then, of course, Donald, right? And you will meet them in Blood for the Con because they are your patrons in a magnificent tale. And you will love the Mornwood because there is much going on. And it can be used in another place if you don't want to use it with our Darken Haven. Yes. All right. The book club, yes?
So we are in book club. And today we are going to talk about, this at the very top right here.
Yes, that is a bloom.
A bloom. So we're going to talk about the very top continent, a bloom.
So leave that up, Camera Mandy. Let's just make sure, pull it back so everybody can see it a little bit. In fact, we should get a map so we can put, there you go. That's a little bit there you go. So this, my friends, and so I'm looking at that, so just don't worry about me not looking at the screen. This is the world of Zyathé. And the world of Zyathé has 5 major continents and 3 lessers, if you want to call it that. Okay, 4 lessers, if you want to call it that. The one on the top left is Verdestia. Stay with it, Camera Mandy. You're doing great. You don't need to move around.
Okay.
You're doing great.
Okay. It's just quite heavy.
It's Verdestia. Come on, Camera Mandy. Flex those muscles.
It's a very thick tome. It's very worth the money. Go buy
and
it.
You can get it right now for $19.95. Yes, if you act right now. No, you can't get it for $19.95. Anyway, Verdestia is where most of the stuff that we're doing right now is taking place. Up above that is Nordruka, and to the far north of that is the pole called a bloom. all right? And we wanted our poles to be amazing. And so you can see there's kind of a red forest there and all of these mountains and all of this stuff. And Nordruka kind of plays into this. And the reason why Nordruka plays into it is because the Eterns were really not nice to the Arachnoids. All right. In fact, they were terrible to the Arachnoids. And they pushed the Arachnoids out of much of their lands. They pushed them up into Nordruka. They ended up all congregating there. And the Arachnoids didn't take very kindly to it, as you might well imagine. And then after the War of Ruin, when the Eternic mages were emasculated, so to speak, right? They couldn't do their high magics anymore and all of this stuff, right? All of a sudden, those sort of marginalized folk who were the Arachnoids decided maybe they'd start taking back some of what was theirs, right? And so this has created marvelous interplay, right? All kinds of political theater and all of that kind of stuff, right? And also, I think it makes the Arachnoids much more interesting and much more realistic, right? Because they're not just savages that are out there wanting to kill everybody all the time, right? They have motivations, they have backgrounds and all of that stuff. And those of you who know about the world of Zyathé know about Verdestia. And Verdestia is amazing because in the north on West Verdestia, which is right behind Kemramandi, by the way, that's on the wall. In the north of West Verdestia, can't quite see it, Kemramandi. We need to be able to put up a map. Is Magdranog, and Magdranog was Kalanta, and it was overtaken by the Nordrukans. Right, the Arachnoids came down from Nordruka and took over Kalanta and continued to sweep south. That likely, potentially, going to take the entire continent. They might have run up against it when they got to Anvala, but the Republic came together in that time, and they started pushing back to the north. And there in the midst of that area between the Ashclot River in the north and the Silvershine River in the south, the death, the carnage was outrageous. And the dead began to rise of their own accord and fight back against their former comrades, to the point where both the Magdranogans, the Arachnoids from Magdranog, and the people of the Republic had to pull back beyond the rivers. And now it is called the Vile Desolation. And it is a place that is truly populated by both intelligent and savage undead. And this has led to the possibility that Hernesh, who is the Arachnoid leader of Magdranog, who is enlightened, very wise, has come against the Nordrukans, who only want him to destroy the Republic because he believes the Vile Desolation is one of the greatest dangers to the entire world. And there are whispers that Hernesh is making overtures and vice versa to the Republic because of this fear. And is that not marvelous? That is great tale, right? And that is the thing that is breathing in West Verdestia, and something that I just love. I cannot wait till we publish The Dead and Fallow, and you can take one of your adventuring parties across the Silvershine. Yes, into the Vile Desolation.
And we did a whole 2-part series on the Vile Desolation for Goo Morning Zyathé, I think a couple years ago with Alexander, who wrote a lot of it.
Yes.
So if you
with much help from Carrie, give her credit too. She did great.
So
both of them, Alexander was magnificent, and Carrie, really was wonderful. And then I helped out a little bit, just a touch.
All of these are posted on YouTube. All of our Good Morning Zyathés are posted on YouTube.
Hard to find things though. We'll have to figure that out.
I put it in the title, so if you search Vile Desolation, it should come up.
All right. So anyway, Nordruka is a harsh land, and the people became harsh because of it. Right? They had to be tough.
Well, I feel like, and I think it's easy when you're in an easy climate to.
Yes.
Like point fingers, but people do not walk in these Arachnoid shoes.
No.
They don't know what they've had to do to survive out in these harsher climates.
No, we really tried in this thing to give complexity and interest and motivations that weren't just I want to just go kill people, right? Because that's kind of goofy, honestly, right? So and what's interesting really about Magdranog, which is the area that was taken over, right, and run by Hernesh, and the warlords that are up in Nordruka, they're kind of coming at odds now. Because Hernesh is like, I don't really want to attack the Republic anymore because I am really afraid of what is going on down here beneath us. And frankly, in his enlightenment, he's realized that most of the people who are living now, who survived the War of Ruin, They didn't have anything to do with what was done to the Arachnoids, right? It was the Eternic leaders. There was those terrible, they were really not good, right? They were very powerful and they did terrible things across the globe.
Well, they weren't just powerful, they were power hungry.
Power
so
hungry,
nothing
right.
was enough.
Right, even to the point where they caused the Woe of Ruin with
I know.
Galcianthus. Anyway, much tales for all of you raiders. If you're listening to this, I apologize because this is a lot of inside information.
We have a question from
Oh,
Melinda.
yes, please.
A question for a bloom. Who are the race of white-haired humanoids in a bloom?
This is a tale coming, my friend. Indeed. Because what we wanted to do, it was Belinda?
Belinda.
Yes, hi, Belinda. So what we wanted to do was to really give environments that made sense, right? So we always want to have plausible fantasticalness, right? We want it to feel like it could be, right? And so the reason, what we wanted to do as we roll out the continents, you're going to meet new peoples in the world of Zyathé. So you've seen little whispers of the Feymuddles, and you've seen little whispers of the fire race, right? Which is even not named yet, right? And really, that is the true race that was blessed by the fire sovereign. Okay, and so you've seen little whispers of all of this, and this is what we are going to do with a bloom. There you will find the frost giants, though they will not be called that. There you will find the Zyathé, yes, and these are going to be marvelous, interesting creatures, right?
Zyathé.
There you will find the Garund, the northern Garund, who will be more pale of skin and less blue. So this is going to be wonderful, and we will let you know more about that. It is coming as we go forward, because it's fun to discover together. In fact, maybe some of you will help craft some of these new places and new things. Let me read this, Cameramendi. A bloom covers the northern pole of Zyathé. The coastal regions are similar in climate to Nordruka, but even a few miles inland, the terrain turns to vast tracts of empty, desolate, frozen wasteland. Intense cold persists year-round, and little cover can be found from the cutting gales that howl across the barren continent. It is perhaps surprising how little snow actually falls across a bloom, for much of it is perpetually covered, sometimes as much as several miles deep. But this is because the scant precipitation rarely has the chance to melt. Several mountain ranges break the otherwise monotonous topography. In spite of the trying climate, the continent is not entirely devoid of life, though its few intelligent inhabitants must subsist almost entirely by harvesting the sea. Interestingly, a fairly large nomadic settlement of the Eternic people, maybe not Eternic, the Aethernic, okay, that's not the same. Of Aethernic people may also be found in southern Abloom. This clan, known as the Wissandanth, travel about the most southerly edges of the continent depending on the time of year. A number of small human villages dot the rocky shore of Abloom, as do camps of outcast Arachnoids and the occasional Myroon supply depot. All of these settlements must subsist on the sea for food, though there are few hidden valleys that are said to be magically protected from the worst of the weather. There, some hearty crops may be raised, but only for short growing seasons that last less than 3 months. And that is the tale of a bloom. So I don't know how many of you, cameraman, do me a favor. Put me on mute and go away from me for a second.
Well,
Just do that real quick, because I'm going to blow my schnoz.
it's just not that easy.
Well, listen, so what's going on here? What's going on here in Colorado of late?
You're muted.
Okay, so unmute me. So what's going on in Colorado for the last 2 days? We've had these incredible winds, right? I mean, knocking over trees and all of this stuff, and all this crap is flying up into the air, right? And I already have allergies, right? And so today it's like worse. All right, mute me. Ready? Am I muted?
I think so.
All right, thank you, cameraman. That was kind. All right, that's good. As I've said, low budget production. So a bloom. We want to bring this marvelous place where you're going to be able to have incredible adventures in icy climes. And I really think it's going to be magnificent when we get there. Unfortunately, we might not get there for a couple of years or 3 years, but that's okay because there's plenty of adventure in Verdestia, and we are soon to move to Sundestia.
I feel like if you do more of a homebrew campaign, it'd be kind of good to like weed in some of the tales from a bloom and kind of get your people like amped about it. The next paragraph talks about how adventurers go there because there's these etheric artifacts that people are seeking in this area. So how were those etheric artifacts like preserved?
So this is the tales of some of these supposed magical areas, right? These valleys that do not have necessarily the exact same climb as a bloom, right? And so these were etheric, some of them believed they were etheric sort of outcasts, those who didn't believe in what the Etherns were doing and went there, right? And so some believe that they're actually descendants of the true Etherns, right? Most of whom died, right? Obviously, you have to remember, the Etherns is a culture, right? It's not a race of people or a type of people with any kind of ancestry. It was made up of many people of different ancestries, right? And but the cultures are often defined by those who govern, right? And or at least they're influenced significantly by those who govern through, communication and all of that stuff. The further you got away from the central continent of the world, which was called Resplansia at the time, the less influence the Etheric people, the Etheric culture had. And some did not like what the Etheric culture was doing. And some were, of course, like the Arachnoids and other peoples, right, in other places, were kind of oppressed by the Etheric culture, the Etheric governments. And so there are rumors that some Etherns who broke away from the Empire and still had significant magical capability, but maybe didn't believe in some of the uses of the high magics and all of that kind of stuff, actually may have settlements in Abloom and even Subloom. So these are more tales to tell in the future, but I think it gives a wonderful soup, right, for an icy place that it's not just everywhere you go, it's just ice and snow. It gives you room to have some interesting things that are a little beyond sort of what would be the norm in a Arctic or Antarctic environment.
It seems like a higher level type of
Oh
environment.
yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a little rough.
Get them leveled up in West Verdestia, East Verdestia, and then go to Abloom. So you have a very interesting paragraph here at the end.
You want me to read it? Or do you want to read it?
I don't think we need to read it. I'll just say, the other community of note is the rather large famed floating Myroon city of Lantgar.
Yes.
So does this mean that one of the floating cities...
It's not a flying city.
So what is the difference between a flying city
and a floating city? Floats on the ocean.
Oh.
Yes.
I guess that makes sense.
Yes.
I was thinking like floating in the air.
No, it's not.
Okay.
The only flying city that still exists in the world of Zyathé is pictured here on the front.
Okay. I was curious about that. Okay, so and it just the floating city you said it like goes around, it kind of like floats around.
Yes, it can actually move.
So is it like the Myroons, can they
sorry, cameraman, I looked the wrong way. Yes, it can actually move.
I know, it can actually move, but like can they control the movement? Like the
What was that?
it was just the ferret.
Oh my God, the ferrets is falling all over the place.
Low budget production.
Anyway, yes. Can
the Myroon actually control the way that it floats?
And there are more than one of their floating cities that survived the Woe of Ruin. Okay.
Okay.
But that is because they also, the Maroon, some of them did not. There's actually another floating city that is out there that is rumored to be massively corrupted.
Because of the Woe?
Because of the Woe. But some of the Maroonic floating cities, some of the Maroon rejected all of the... See, you have to understand, the high magics brought many powers, all right? And some of them were scary, right? And some peoples looked at what the Etheric Empire was doing and felt it wrong, morally, ethically, all of this stuff. And so they began to break away, right? The dwarves were the most famous for doing this, but many groups that may have not necessarily been based in any kind of ancestry or race, they just disagreed. And so there are a couple of Maroonic cities that kind of backed away from that, and there's tales to come on those as well in the future of the world. This is the wonderful thing that, if we hang around together long enough, over the next decade or so, together with this marvelous community, we're going to make a world. And that's pretty exciting for me.
Yeah, and
I'll be old, Cameramendi. Good God, I'll be in the 70s. Yes, by
it'll
then.
be fine. It'll keep your mind sharp.
Yes, keep my mind sharp. Yes.
It'll be good. Don't worry. Don't stress about it. The only thing I worry about is you going to conventions.
Yes, getting all kinds of diseases. So any questions about a bloom, my friends? Any thoughts?
I actually had a different question that wasn't about a bloom that I have to go find. Again, it was about if there's going to be more lore with the fairy, like the dark and the.
So there's some good lore about the
Where's
Fairy
the
in
question?
East Redestia and West Redestia. About
Here it is. Will there be a separate dimension / world where there will be more light and dark fae creatures?
So no. So we made the conscious decision that we were not going to create this Fey realm because it's already been done so many times. And so when you pass into the Fey realm, you actually are passing beyond the borders of that which has been established by the Wild Heart. And so it is very magical and interesting and intriguing once you pass over their borders. But it is not passing into some new dimension and all of that stuff. In fact, I think you're going to find the planar realms and how we have done this with the Havenal and the Abyssal and the Aquissal realms and sort of the existential and the astral and the ethereal planes and some of the other things that we are doing. I hope you find it to be refreshing. Not just a rehash of what has been done by many others. That's part of our goal, is to still be familiar, but also with much uniqueness. And that is part of the idea behind Zyathé, is so that they don't feel like they're just, going to hang out in Greyhawk or the Forgotten Realms or some of the other, very modern and wonderful places. So there won't be that. But you will feel that when you move past the borders and into the areas of the Wild Heart. And we have not really explored the Wild Hearts the way we want to. And they are very, very interesting. And there's much to talk about them. And so there may be other things coming, but it's just, over time, you have to kind of measure what you're going to do next. There are a lot of people who are clamoring for Monstrica, and a lot of people who are clamoring for Sundestia. And then, of course, we have to do the last 2 chapters of the Red Star Rising campaign. So this is all coming, and we're pretty excited about the months to come. Our production capabilities have gotten better. We're getting faster on stuff, and we've got more processes in place and some more help, which is great. So onward and upward, as they say, so to speak. Any other questions,
Yes.
my friends?
Does Nordruka care about the outcasts that are in Arnar that are kind of building a group?
Very good question. Who's
Guess who
that
was
from?
from?
Belinda.
Yeah, of course it's from
She's a
Belinda.
lore master. So the interesting thing about what's going on with Nordruka is that because they feel like they already have a foothold, although some of the war chiefs don't like Hernesh very much, right? They are beginning to go to the east towards Estrenia. And some of those outcasts, right, decided that they didn't want to be a part of the craziness of the war chiefs and let's make war and do all this stuff, right, and all that kind of thing. And so while they are, I would say, an annoyance to the Nordrukan clan lords, I would say that they don't really give a hooding so much because they're seriously thinking that maybe they can take on the Sao-Waiwun Empire in Estrenia, which is going to be a very interesting thing if that plays out, because the Sao-Waiwun Empire is tough. Certainly one of the toughest on the face of the planet. So, but the Nordrukans are tough too. So it's interesting, So you got all this political mix and intrigue, and that's what makes for great lore, right? It just, you want all this tension and all of this going on, right? That's the thing, right, Cameramendi? Why are you looking at us? You were reading something.
Yeah, I'll read it at the end.
Oh, at the end.
Yes.
Well, could this be the end? Do we have anything else to do?
No, this is it. Okay, I'll read it to you.
All right, here we go.
So this is from Hentaya, to the tune of Betty Davis Eyes.
Okay.
Her hair is purple corn.
Her hair is purple corn.
Her media sweet surprise.
Her media sweet surprise.
Her chats will never scorn.
Her chaps will never scorn.
She's got crazy hatter eyes.
She got crazy hatter eyes. Well done, yes. I cannot sing like Armando the Bard, but I do the best I can do. Anyway, my friends, this is it for today. Much to talk about next week. We got a lot of things coming. We're very excited about it. The Contributors Guild thing, we'll talk about that next week, how to get signed up and all of that. Sorry, not how to get signed up, but what it's going to be. But if you haven't signed up for it, please go to either the Discord or to the Facebook group. Look in the pinned posts at the top. Look at the rules. If you look at the rules, down at the bottom of the rules is how you sign up to be a contributor. And we would love to have you be a part of the world of Zyathé and bring a little bit of your own little spice to the soup. My friends, much appreciation. Thank you for all your support and friendship. Thank you for helping make Zyathé more special because of your touches. And may all your adventures be sticky. Ha ha!